Hello folks, it's that time of the week again for me to ask you, what are you doing? I'm your host, Chad Stanton, and no, I am not the star of the show. Actually, you are the star of the show. We like to show what everyone is building from all around the world, what you got going on in your shop. Now, if you are new to the show, please like and subscribe. Help us grow the show, help us grow the numbers. And for the regular viewers, if you would please do me a favor and share this with someone new so we can help bring them on board to spread the word about this show. Okay, another big week, so let's get right into it. Stephane Chatput. Hopefully I got the name right. Stephen's going to start us off with a nice, simple project. This is a cutting board that he's making. And he said he's making it for his cousin's 50th birthday. And I think he said his cousin's been waiting a while for this. Hopefully not the full 50 years there, Stephen. But nonetheless, I know a lot of woodworkers, no matter what experience they are, most of them like making cutting boards. And Stephen shared this with us. Moving on, Jeffrey Stewart. Jeffrey Stewart, you might remember him a few weeks ago. He made that huge horse and sleigh from a ad that he saw in a department store window. Well, this time he made something small and delicate, which is this decorative keepsake box. It's made out of black walnut, and he did dovetails on it. I think Jeffrey said he got the actual plans from this from a magazine or something, but he altered it. He changed it a little bit to suit his needs. And also, I don't think it had the dovetails on it originally. He put that in. So, see, there are things that we can do as woodworkers to make it our own. All right? Don't be ashamed that maybe you're building someone else's plans, but find opportunities and ways to make it your own. Thank you, Jeffrey. Peter Compton. Peter and I are quickly becoming friends. Peter's down there in Australia. And Peter is making this Welsh dresser. Now, last week or the week before, he had the bottom section done. This week, he has the upper unit going on it. And he made his own crown molding, too, which is pretty cool. Now, I didn't know if he made that with router bits or if he did hand planes on it. I'm assuming router bits he made to help shape that. I think he also, too, has some of the cove on it. I think he mentioned he did it on the table saw, which I've done myself in the past. I've made my own crown molding on the table saw. But you get a lot of, like, the saw blade marks left behind, and so you have to go in with, like, a curved card scraper and clean them up. So sometimes buying crown molding can be easier. But in this case, Peter wanted to make his own. So great job, Peter. I'm curious to see it finished and, of course, what your next project's going to be. Becky Stock. Now, I got to say, we don't get too many women that do woodworking, but I'm glad they're not limited to not being part of the show. So Becky's been making a Morris chair for her husband, and she completed it. Now she's going to be making an ottoman to go with it. That's in the process. And I asked Becky this because there was another fella the other week that made a Morris chair. And I asked him in the email, did you build that from plans? And if so, then did the plans tell you where to get the cushion or whatever? And he said, yes, he did build it from plans, and that was a huge mistake because it didn't tell you where to get a cushion. So he suggests, and I don't know if Becky did this, I asked Becky this too, the other fella suggested that you get the cushion first. If you're not able to make one, get your cushion first. In his case, he used one off of a sofa, and then make the size, the dimensions of the chair to the cushion. Now, I don't know what Becky did, but that might be good advice for anyone else out there, including myself, because I've always wanted a Morris chair. So Becky, be real anxious to see it completed. Both of them completed there. with the hubby sitting in it, relaxing, chilling, and hopefully watching the show and being real proud of you. Tayler Whitehead. Tayler made a monk's bench. Now, I wasn't familiar with the term monk's bench. I had to look it up. And essentially, it's one of those table chairs, you know, where the top flips up, and so the table just became a chair. So this looks a little bit like it might be an older style, like from the Middle Ages, probably. That looks like the era of it. And now, Tayler didn't have photos for me, so I kind of stole a couple of photos from his video. And I'm going to have the link below there in the description if anyone wants to go and see the video. But Tayler is really close to having 1,000 subscribers. So I went over there, I clicked and joined on it, watched a couple of his stuff. But if any of you viewers would like to help push Tayler up over to the 1,000 mark, I'm sure he'll be thrilled. So Tayler, hang on, help is coming. Tom Bertino. Tom makes me laugh. You know, last week, Tom's got a nice backyard, and so last week one of his buddies said, "Oh, you got everything out here except the train." So what does Tom do? Tom puts an 80-foot-long train track with a train and everything out there. This week, still going with the backyard theme, he made a little bridge, just a little crossover, a little walking bridge. He said he made them out of pressure-treated 2x12s and a 6x6 post. You can see it's got just a nice little gentle curve to it. And, of course, his friend said, "Oh, now that you got a bridge, you probably have a troll that lives underneath there." So Tom, of course, had to add a little troll. So I was teasing with Tom. I'm afraid to joke with him because he takes things way too serious. But at any rate, again, it's kind of nice to see what everyone's doing, whether it's a simple project for the kitchen, like a cutting board, a chair for the living room, or a bridge with a troll for the backyard. It's always, this is the place to get inspiration. So thank you, Tom. Roy Beckner. Roy is fairly new to woodworking, and Roy made this hope chest for his niece, and has a real rustic look to it. I think he made it all with reclaimed material. And Roy was telling me in the email that he didn't do the best joinery on the drawer. Understandable, because we're all learning, right? And he said he didn't fully understand the whole wood movement thing, and the drawer gave him some problems. I don't know if the drawer fell apart because of wood movement or got stuck. Anyhow, he said it was his second project, and there was a lot that he's done different since. And that is the key to woodworking. I'm sorry, you're not going to learn everything from a video or from a book or a magazine. You're going to learn through experience and through mistakes. And when we share those mistakes with others, it's not to be ashamed that we didn't know better. We're sharing it so others learn from it, that they don't make the mistakes, that they don't put all that hard work and time in only to have to do it again. But Roy definitely says he knows better now, and every time he makes a drawer, he doesn't do that mistake. So thank you, Roy, and most of all, besides the picture, thank you for sharing your experience with us. Don Bullock. Yeah, this is another guy I'm getting to know pretty well, Don. Don made 2 dead blow mallets this week. And same thing, he's got a video. I'll put his video down in the description if you'd like to see how Don made the mallet and would like to make a dead blow mallet yourself. Dead blow mallets, in case you're not familiar with them, what they typically do is they have some kind of weight or shot or sand in the head itself. So when you come down, it has that momentum in it, and it has more thrust when it hits. And so Don had 2 mallets there. And actually what Don said to me in the email was that the first one, he had some problems. He didn't make it right. And I loved his attitude, because Don said he made a second one to prove to himself he could do it right. And that there is what we all should be striving to do. Not to prove it to anyone else, not to put it here on YouTube and say, look what I've done, blah, blah. You do it right to prove it to you that you can do it. So, great project, Don, and great motivation there. Thank you. Page 1 is done. A couple more to go. Eric Zander. Eric is new to the show, so welcome, Eric. He said he's been watching for a long time now. And Eric has a small workshop that he's in. He said he's kind of envious of me because I'm working on my shop, which is significantly larger for me. Eric is only working in an 8x16 area. And I want to tell you, this is a terrible expression, but size does not count. Yeah, I'm not talking about the other thing. In this case, it doesn't matter how big your shop is. It doesn't matter how many tools you got. It doesn't matter what name brands are on the tools. What counts is what you can produce. And my really good friend, Dennis Laney, you always hear me talk about Dennis and Les. Dennis had been doing woodworking clearly over 50 years. He was working in, well, it was a one-car garage, but I would say it was even less than one car because half of it was just wood storage for him. And Dennis can produce museum-quality pieces of furniture. It's amazing. Now, true, smaller size limits you to maybe the size of your project or how many projects that you can get going, but it has nothing to do with your skill. So don't let that discourage you, Eric. But Eric said he's really into it. He really loves woodworking so much. And he is making this tall tool cabinet for his small shop, which is brilliant, keeping everything efficient and organized, especially in a small area. You'll be much more productive that way. And Eric's dream is to be a professional furniture maker like myself. And so, Eric, we need to have a talk. So. Anyhow, thanks for joining us, Eric, this week. Hope to see more progress on that tool cabinet next week. Don McLaren. This is nice. It's another small project. But Don made a shadow box for his grandfather's fishing knife. Now, he told me the fishing knife story in the email, and so I won't spare everyone with that. I'll spare you the time. But what I thought was really nice, he made the box to pay homage to his grandfather, who is not around anymore, sadly, but it's nice to think that knife and the time he spent with him had such good memories. And so he put his woodworking skills to use and made that little memorial box for him. So thanks, Doc. Tom Scarlett. Tom actually was introduced to me by my good friend Frank Byers, and Tom makes knives. Now, I know what most of you are probably thinking, like, okay, Chad, a lot of people make knives, you know, kind of cool, but not a big deal. Well, Tom makes all wooden knives. I mean, all wood knives. That's right, even the blade is made out of wood. And you can see in these pictures, they're beautiful looking little knives. They fold up, they have an edge to them. I mean, I would imagine you're not probably going to want to go, kill a rhino with that thing, but pretty cool for like a letter opener, or I imagine you can probably cut some mild stuff with it. Anyhow, Tom makes them, he sells them. A lot of people buy them for gifts. So if you're interested in his knives, especially if you're a knife collector, I mean, that's pretty cool to have in your collection, an all wooden knife. So if that's something you might be interested in, I will put his Facebook link down in the description there. But Tom, thank you for joining the show. Mr.Moe. Yes, Mr.Moe, another fellow that I'm becoming friends with. Mr.Moe is making the step stool for his wife in the kitchen. I guess she's vertically challenged, maybe? I don't know. I didn't say that. I told him that I want to make one for my wife as well, and I actually have a customer that now wants one for his wife. But Mr. Moe's design is actually different. Mine was going to be like a step stool with a single handle coming straight up, so you can just pick it up. You don't have to bend over. Mr. Moe there actually made it with 2 handles and a bar going across. And I thought, you know, that might be a good idea for perhaps someone who's elderly, like maybe if we have a grandma or something that's still independent and wants to get stuff out of that cabinet. Now she's got a nice bar to pull herself up on versus the little handle that I'm making for my wife. So great idea there, Mr. Moe, and keep them coming. Excited to see, as always, what you got going next. David Bishop. David over there at One Eye Woody. Again, David and I talked quite a bit, and this week's project, you remember last week he made the little monster truck toy. This week he's rebuilding his mailbox. He's doing it out of some reclaimed lumber that he got. And what I'm really envious about with this project, because people are going to be like, whoa, wait a second, Chad. You're envious of a mailbox? I'm envious the fact that his wife is helping him do it. That they really enjoy doing woodworking together. And I was joking with David that, you know, one of the reasons my wife likes the fact that the new shop is going to be farther back from the house is because she hates coming in my shop. She loves me, she just hates the shop. So I'm very envious of you there, David. So I'd like to see that mailbox in place, finished photo next week, right? Okay. Jeff Burton. Jeff's been working on a shuffleboard table, and he had a couple of setbacks. Well, 1 week he had water damage, kind of soaked into the end grain of the legs. I don't know if he's able to salvage that or if he had to make new ones. He also, too, is making the top out of a hollow core slab door, and something about he nicked or chipped the corner of it, which is going to stick out like a sore thumb. But it was an opportunity for him to try something different. And so he put this epoxy and did like a marble kind of glaze thing on it. And holy cow, I mean, it looks real. That is so awesome. And I'm thinking accidentally chipping the top was the best thing you probably did for that project, because now it's stunning. I am really excited to see it get finished up. I told Jeff he's got to show me that technique. It was really cool. So thanks, Jeff. Dwight Lundeen. Now, Dwight was new to the show last week. He made a cute little, what do you call it, a bookshelf for his granddaughter, and it was like a real whimsical little bookshelf, you know, one that kind of curved and had little hands on it and stuff. Real cute. And his granddaughter got thrilled at the fact that her bookshelf was on the show. Well, apparently she has a twin brother, and even though the granddaughter was thrilled, the grandson was pretty envious. And so Dwight had to send in this week, which I think is even cooler, this biplane shelf. And this is Cameron's plane. And so you can see it's right over the bed. And it looks like in the last photo there, it looks like the front nose opens up for storage even in the plane. So cool idea. I saw that and wow, it's so simple and yet is brilliant. So I love all the stuff that you all send in. You folks are amazing. So thank you, Dwight, and thank you, Cameron, for letting Grandpa use that photo. Bill Landis. Bill, new to the show. Welcome, Bill. And Bill sent me a very nice email. It was kind of long, and I feel bad, Bill, because I felt like I should have wrote more back to you. But nonetheless, I love reading it. And Bill's fairly new, being retired, and his new passion and hobby is woodworking. He absolutely loves his time in the shop. And I'm telling you, even if I don't have anything to do here, I just want to be here. This is where they're going to bury me. So Bill gets it too, and Bill made for his wife this little kitchen island. And the bottom is made out of poplar, which he then stained, and the top is made out of hard maple. And I think he said he designed the bottom because his wife had an antique shop, and so he got his inspiration and ideas from a lot of the antique furniture that comes through there. So, see, you never know where the next source of inspiration comes from. But at any rate, thank you, Bill, for sending that in, and thank you for being new to the show. Page 2 is done. Over to Ireland. Yes, that means we're talking about Mark Fitzsimons. And Mark, as you've heard me talk about, the regulars know, I could go on and on about how good of a craftsmanship Mark is. But anyone new to the show, I got to tell you, Mark never does anything small. So, to give you, for instance, Mark shows me a picture, he goes, yeah, I made this door for a customer. I said, oh, that's cool. Yeah, he made like 33 doors for that customer. And it wasn't a simple door. It's pretty complicated. Next thing you know, he's like, yeah, I'm doing some trim in a house for a customer. Shows me this house is ridiculous. It's huge, and he's doing like every single room in it. And of course, this week's no different. So he told me the other week, Chad, I got a customer, I got to design a closet for a customer. Okay. I even told him I got a good friend, Tony Carlisle at Stormore. He does closets for a living, so I can get with Tony and maybe give him some suggestions. So this week, Mark sends me in the rough sketch idea of that closet. That's a dressing room. I mean, would you look at that? How do you want me to help you with that, Mark? At any rate, very cool stuff. I am really eager to see how that works out. I think Mark says he does everything twice. He does it once in his mind and then has to change everything when he actually builds it. I think that's probably a true statement. But nonetheless, Mark always has his hands full. Andrew Eikum. Andrew, I think, was on the show last week. And Andrew is making this TV console. So here's his concept sketch of it. And he's doing it mostly with hand tools. And he wrote me and said, geez, Chad, I feel kind of bad, working and the stuff. I only had a little bit of time. I only got the hand-cut tenons and some of the mortises done. So, here's what he's got so far. And look, there's no reason to apologize. Not all of us have the convenience of having the time we want to be in the shop. And so, any progress we do is forward progress. And that's truly the essence of this show, is to keep you all encouraged. Don't get down that you come to a hard spot in the project. We'll help you through it. You just ask us your questions. If you feel bad because you didn't get out there in the shop because time's limited, just do a little bit, even if it means laying out the tools that you're going to use or stacking the wood in the right order. Don't apologize for it, but always try to make slow steps, keep moving forward, even if you're just watching the show to get ideas for the next project. So, nice job, Andrew, and take your time with it because the quality is what counts. All right, this next fella, I'm sorry. I am so sorry. I am going to totally ruin your name. So I'm just going to put your name up right here. This fella, this nice young man, is from India, which, again, blows my mind. People all over the world. He's from India, and look at these toy trucks that he makes. I mean, the detail, it's fantastic. I've never done anything on a toy level like that. I've made some simple little truck toys or whatever, but that's amazing. So, thank you for sending your photos in. I apologize for not being able to say your name. This is the arrogance of me. So, but thank you very much. The duck. The duck is here this week. Small project. his daughter got a mirror, and he didn't like the mirror. He said there's no way that cheesy little plastic frame is going to hold the weight of the mirror once you put it up on the wall. He was worried about her safety, so he's working on just a basic frame. So he did a little sketch, and he was joking with me, because everyone else is doing stuff on the computer, and he's like, Chad, I just did this little pencil sketch. That's fine. That's fine. That's usually where I start. I do everything just doodle even. And then usually from the sketch, I build it, and I do it on the computer for plans for, others. But anyhow, don't apologize, the duck, and keep at it. Another new person, Tony Petrites. I hope that's right. He saw last week how the duck made a small bench for his friend, and it was supposed to be for outside use, and that's kind of like what. And then the friend's wife said, "No, we're bringing that bench inside." Well, that's kind of what happened to Tony here. So Tony made this bench, and its original intention was to be painted and placed outside. So he went to his wife and asked, what color paint should we make this? And the wife was like, no, you're not painting that. You're staining it, and you're going to put a top coat on it and bring it in the house. So, lesson learned, Tony, we never ask the wives. Just kidding. Actually, the wives actually have a better, at least my wife, she has a better insight on color and, like where it should go, and she just kind of has like a better designer overall feel, where I'm just focused on the furniture, so. Anyhow, thanks, Tony, and I hope I didn't get you in trouble for that little wife joke there. Okay, and we have this week Holly Smith. Now, Holly, a few weeks back, showed a toolbox that she did with some dovetails, and she actually said, I felt so good about this. She said she watched my dovetail video series, and one of her dovetails she wasn't real happy with how it came out. And so by the fourth video, where I had common problems and simple solutions, she was able to go back and repair her dovetail from the video. So I'm real glad that worked out for you, Holly. Holly apparently is really into hand tools, because she made this saw vise. Now, if you all aren't familiar with what a saw vise is you basically take your hand saw and you put it in the vise there, and see it's got that long head, so it can apply pressure to the blade, keep it nice and stiff while she gets in with a file and sharpens it. Pretty cool. So I didn't know if that was her design or if she worked off of someone else's, but nonetheless, it was very cool. And and that girl's got to have some serious skills if she's sharpening her own saws, because I still send mine out. I don't know if it's the eyes or I just can't get the rhythm right, but whenever I try it, I screw it up. So Holly's got some skills right there. But she also wanted to say how this show has encouraged her. She did not want to show her work to people. She feels kind of shy, and we always think that there's someone better than us. And you know what? There always is someone better than us. But that's how we learn. And if they are arrogant and they don't want to share what they know, then we don't need them. We'll get our answers elsewhere. But anyway, for anyone watching the show, we've said it before, there's no judging that goes on here, only encouragement and progress. So if you're new, send your stuff in to me, and I'll tell you about that in just a minute. Thank you, Holly. And wrapping up the show is Peter James. Yes, we have come to know Peter James as the man who builds the mandolins. He teaches students how to build these wonderful, beautiful musical instruments, just an art and skill in its own. But this week, Peter sent in this photo. He will take leftover scrap woods, usually some kind of exotic wood, and put other materials with it and make these very art-formed, art-shaped boxes. So, cool stuff. You can definitely see the imagination that Peter has going on there. And so Peter also plays our outro music on the show. The closing song is by Peter on his mandolin. But before I go, once again, I want to remind you, if you like the show, please like and subscribe. Please share it with others. We'd like to see these numbers grow so we can get more sponsors to give you better quality videos to make you a better woodworker. And if you would like to send your photos in to me, or a 30-second clip of you explaining what your project is, you can email it to woodchoppingtime@gmail.com. Some of you I've been talking with for a while. If you don't mind, you've been emailing me previously on my business email account. If you don't mind updating that, send it to woodchoppingtime@gmail.com. Send in your projects or send in your questions. I'll be happy to answer any of your woodworking questions, and we'd like to see you do better. Okay, until next time, keep on dancing.